Coming back to that particular subject, what we are talking about this chronic disease, the thing I told, thoda diabetes, thoda BP, thoda cholesterol, somewhere I'm a quite. I was talking to one of a doctor who started by telling thoda diabetes, thoda. So I was trying to impress upon him कि हाँ, this is something, physiology has already changed. It's not a normal physiology, and you are into a different chronic disease zone. He is still failing to understand. नहीं थोड़ा है, कुछ नहीं होता है. This is how these things are happens with all of us, in particularly in this part of the world. थोड़ा सा प्रॉब्लम है, चलेगा. So we have to convince him. It's more of a kind of thing. Thoda. I was telling him as this one कि no, थोड़ा pregnancy है तो चलता नहीं है ना. It is not that you cannot have a partial pregnancy. You cannot have thoda pregnancy. Pregnancy is there. It is there full. Diabetes is there. It is there. There is no mild. There is no mild hypertension, moderate or severe of what thing. You are into a kind of your reset mechanisms, your buffers are exhausted, then only you got into this problem. So yes, we need to correct the dots. It's not somewhere whatever we have learned about this chronic disease, and somewhere we are in a kind of generation now where if not you get something at the childhood level, you are going to get in the adulthood level, or you are getting into something like once you enter the geriatric age. Gone are the days when people used to have problems when they used to cross 60 years and all. Now things have changed, and we need to understand why things are changing, in spite of all of us trying to take care of our diet, trying to take care of our exercise, everything. And this is one of the segment which I would like to focus, because much is not there, as we had not properly given, we had not not it's not connected basically, but we have not properly worked on this in a big way, and it is something people are still into a mode. They keep asking us, why me, doctor, why me? I follow some things. I have cancer, I don't smoke, I don't drink, I follow a very this normal thing. We were trying our level best to see that people are obese. They feel they try everything on the earth, which are the diets and all that. Still, they are not getting the desired BMIs. We need to understand what is this process happening. I can always say you have this prevalence of obesity, you have this diabetes, you have cardiovascular diseases, you have cancer. See, this is something. You have arthritis, you are in predominance, autism is increasing. Yes, in India we have a big number of autistic kids. The numbers on rise. As autism is rising, as ADHD also is rising. You have scores of learning disabilities. We are following every good practices. We are trying to see that we are more healthy. We are trying to ward off all the infectious diseases and all that. But why these chronic diseases are rising? This is the most fundamental question we try to understand, and where I believe that it is the toxicity. It is basically a toxic waste what we have been dumping into the rivers, the toxic waste which have been into the air, that kind of things which are being used in the food industry. These are all the things which are to be blamed when we work on this particular stuff. We had never seen infertility clinics when we passed out MBBS. Now it is called as fertility clinics. It is fertility clinics in India is on the rise. What is happening at the ground level? Why the people? Why the women at the age of 26 or 28? They are going into early menopause. What is happening? You have scores of girls around 15 to 16, 16, 17 years age group getting into a thing called PCOD. They just don't get one polycystic ovarian disease. They get something like thyroid problems, PCOD, some adrenal issues and all. Everything comes as a platter. We need to look what's the common denominator for all these chronic diseases. And as far as I try to work it out, I see there is a subclinical metal poisoning in millions of people, resulting mostly in the developing countries, what I can say, the places where there is a rapid industrialization, China, India, Bangladesh, all these countries, there are several hotspots in the urban areas. These hotspots of metal pollution, and the number of diseases is rising exponentially. And when we compare toxicity, heavy metal toxicity, chemicals usage, everything, it is going parallel. Yes, genetics used to be the common primary answer to given by the scientists to explain occurrence of diseases. We explain diabetes is a genetic disease. We explain something like thyroid is a genetic disease. I would like to differ here. Thyroid disease, thyroid particularly, we had read about when we were medical undergraduates. Thyroid is a disease of 40 fertile fatty women. So the criteria were above 40, above this one, mostly mothers, they used to get this thyroid problem. Now the things have reversed. Unmarried girls in their 20s, not fat, they are getting thyroid problems. Diabetes, not necessarily. You don't have to wait till 60 years to get the diabetes. People are coming with 30 plus, 20 plus with full blown diabetes. If it were to be a only genetic cause, then you should get the thyroid problem mostly after 40, congenital thyroid problems. I'm not confuse you with congenital kind of stuff, but usually thyroid was shown as this particular stuff. I'm talking about familial thyroid. I'm talking about familial diabetes. If the grandfather gets at 60, the father gets at 45, the child is this generation person is getting at 30 or 25. So if at all there is to be only genetic predisposition, it is the present generation person should get diabetes only when he cross 60. So there are some factors which are environmental, which are hastening the genetic expression of the disease quite early in the lifetime. I'll tell you, there are a lot of things where genetics play a role, but what we are trying to tell you is the epigenetics. Yes, it has become toxicity is a silent epidemic. I can't find any other reasons Why autism, arthritis, ADHD, you have got multiple sclerosis, you have got other things which are on the rise. And I can always correlate toxicity with all these conditions. How this toxic chemical exposure occurs? It can occur through air, which is through inhalation, or through the skin contact. It can occur through water, through ingestion, as well as skin contact. It can occur through food directly by ingestion. It can indirectly take toxic exposures can occur from soil, again by ingestion, inhalation, as well as skin contact. And there are products. You have the industry has produced a magnitude of products, right from the non-stick cookware. You have all the PFAOs. PFAO, I mean, is perfluorooctanoic acid. It is basically a Teflon product. Teflon is for automobiles. It is not for the human consumption at all. And by chance, by default, if you are Teflon containing pans, which is non-stick and all that, what is being dubbed by the industry, it is heated to a high temperature. It tries to emanate this particular gas, which is called PFAOs, and it by ingestion, by inhalation, or by the food kind of entry inside into your body, your thyroid is the first thing to get affected, and followed by so many other problems. You have products in your home which can be something like right from your air fresheners. You have got something like deos, you have something like cleansers, you keep using Domex, you just keeping using Harpic. All these particular products, they are good, but at the same time they outgas the chemical things which are used, something like formaldehyde, formic acid, ethylene glycol. All these things keep outgassing and causing a big issue. So these are the toxic exposures. From where these toxic exposures occur, this is a big kind of thing. Big takeaway from this point is you can't really escape from these toxins. Only thing you can be healthy is by trying to see that how best, if there is a toxin entry into the body, how best your detox mechanisms are working, and you are dispelling, you are taking out all these toxins which are ingested into the body. We are able to keep our skin very clean, trying to use a lot of face wash and so many things as well. But when it comes to internally, cleansing the liver is the biggest challenge. We try to work with the cleansing of the kidneys, we try to work with the soft tissues. So this is the one area where we are not able to, things are not that easy. We need to work out on so many other parameters, try to work with the I do detox in a different ways. The detoxification process of the body is not easily understood. We try to work with like, it can be a skin detoxification, it's the most easiest thing. We make use of some saunas, some hyperthermia, and we try to take something like water. We ask people can start doing some detox by taking abundant water, and not just abundant water, we need to work on some other parameters also, trying to understand what is the pH of the water and all that. Once we know the pH of the water, it makes a difference, and it makes a difference. When we work on these particular parameters, we can optimize your body, by which you can detox. Your body starts expelling the things which are unwanted. Instead of retaining inside and causing big issues. Here I would like to impress upon some of the other parameters which are we are by other ways which we are doing detoxification. This is a simple kind of stuff which we are using is a hepatobiliary excretion, and the other one is we are trying to work out with something called they there is a other thing called hepatobiliary excretion. The colon, we try to keep the colon very clean. It is said that death begins at colon. All the toxins, all the toxic waste products, which are, if suppose someone is having a the colon is overloaded with feces and all, it is not a good thing. The colon loaded with the feces, there will be some kind of unwanted. Most commonly, we do see here people having a constipation. Constipation is a big issue, and this is a big major problem. The fourth parameter which I would like to do is cleansing the renals. We try to work with some kind of things, and it is basically a multi-stage approach where we are trying to open up the channels of excretion, keep the skin open. Patient starts sweating, then we don't allow patient to get into constipation. The bowels has to be moved properly, and we work with some of the bulk simple stuffs where we can stop that enterohepatic recirculation is stopped. That way we try to do a detox, and it is done in the major way by doing the IVs and all that. And yes, apart from that, we are working on some other modalities. Once we do a detoxification, we try to see that this has to be properly followed up by a hyperbaric oxygen or some other oxygen therapies. With that, once detoxification is over, then you try to do work on the physiology by improving the oxygenation status in the body. I had happened to work with something called hyperbaric oxygen, and wherein which we are able to some of the nasty problems also we were able to overcome by using this hyperbaric oxygen. It's a very simple way. It's not it doesn't cause a no side effects and all that, so things are quite easy. So I was focusing more on the common heavy metals causing chronic diseases. I told about diabetes. I told about something like infertility. I told about something about hypothyroidism. I had seen in cases, even in cases of Parkinsonism, we are able to see there's a manganese toxicity. So this Parkinsonism has got something origin into this, and people who has got cerebrovascular problems, usually neurodegenerative disorders, let it be Parkinsonism or Alzheimer's or dementias, they do have one thing in common. They will all have some metals in the teeth, which was placed when there is a kind of filling, silver filling was done for the teeth and all. So look at all that stuff. So it becomes quite easy. The other fourth area where we are focusing is the peripheral vascular disease and the ischemic heart disease. I have reasons to say this is probably ischemic heart disease and peripheral artery disease. The underlying cause, I believe, as a public health importance, is the high levels of lead, and we are sure when we look into somebody's vitamin D level status, which is fairly very low, and on the average it is less than 20 in a fully exercising person, healthy hair and healthy exercising person who is considered as a fit person in here, and we have a vitamin D levels which around 20, over sometimes below also. The moment vitamin D levels are low, homocysteine levels are high, and we know that this guy has got something called a lead toxicity, and we go on to test for this particular thing. There are some other chronic diseases which I'll be focusing later on, which can be as simple as something like eczema, psoriasis. It's a metal allergy is relevant here also. You have got food allergies, you have got Crohn's disease, you have got rheumatoid arthritis, you have got SLE, you have got multiple sclerosis. All has got something relevance of the metal toxicity and the allergy. So I still trying to work on this particular stuff, where we believe that all these environmental factors which starts from water, hardness of the water, whether it's a soft water, it's a hard water is probably because of that borewell things and all, because it's a heavy metal content is quite high, which results in this particular stuff. The other thing is from food, and you have got we are talking about air, quality of air, PM 2.5 as well as PM 10. We are trying to check out all these stuffs here, and food toxicity and all that we can always talk in a thing. And yes, these are the small things which we don't look into this. Probably will be only and only focusing on suppressing the symptoms. You have a hypertension, you have a hypothyroid, you have a diabetic, you keep on giving medicine all throughout the life. And this is what I believe. If I am able to get a common denominator and try to work on the toxicity, if I am able to remove the kind of heavy metals or some things, chemicals which are POPs and all that, which is causing your diabetic status, and with this particular approach, probably this is not a band-aid approach, and we need to look at this particular things which is probably causing the disease as such. Look at this particular thing. Don't get carried away just by looking at the symptomatic treatment of the disease. You can always do a good breakthrough by following these particular stuffs. And other particular thing we will discuss in some other sessions. Thank you.